energy into this room. So everybody stand up real quick. Okay, ready? If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, do the boogie, 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 boogie. And have a seat. After a couple speakers, it kind of gets to be that time where sleep is just upon the horizon, but we have a little bit more to go. And again, I'm going to build off. Mara's already kind of laid the platform, so we don't need to go into it too deeply. But here is the reality of what the picture of cancer, particularly breast cancer, is in the world. So 1 in 4 people at this point in 2023 will have cancer at some point in their lives. That statistic is actually predictions into 2020 and 2030. They're looking at it being possibly 1 in 3. So it's really awesome, pat on your own back, okay, that you're here tonight, because that means you care enough about yourself to invest into yourself to learn more. And as our friends here who just left, we're here for even their families, which is awesome, okay? In terms of breast cancer rate, that's roughly 1 in 7. Again, statistics kind of vary depending on your sources, so bear with that. And the National Institute of Health says that in Qatar here, in 2021, 2022, it's a pretty recent statistic, of the cancer rates, 37.5% were actually cases here in Qatar for breast cancer. So this is something that really is impacting people, which is why we're here to talk about it. Now, straight from the get-go, we're going to talk about lifestyle. We have a little bit of a difference in statistic between our sources. However, between 5 to 10%, 15, 20% of cases of breast cancer are actually said to be hereditary, which means that is loads of cases that are not hereditary. So we have to ask ourselves, what leads to these malformation of our cells, or cells that have turned in our bodies to be able to go cancerous? Well, let's talk about it. Smoking, between 20 and 30% increase in the chance of breast cancer. Alcohol, simply drinking it each day, 1 glass, which maybe not in this because it's wrong, but sometimes, you never know, increases risk 7 to 10%. And then diet. And now diet is probably one of the most leading causes and something that we can absolutely control. Raise your hand if you think about your diet every single day to a T. Okay? Absolutely. You are like planning that out, you're making sure you're getting all the recommendations. This is an active part of your life because you know that this is the #1 thing you could do to help yourself prevent any kind of abnormalities in your body. If you aren't, that's fine. Welcome to the majority, okay? In terms of diet, let's kind of break it down. So, envision in your head, go into your kitchen, open up your cupboard. What do you see? Do you see mostly processed foods? Are you seeing chips? Are you seeing macaroni and cheese, Kraft, Velveeta, whatever? Are you seeing ketchups and sauces? Are you seeing noodles or are you seeing a fridge full of greens, veggies, beans? Like, what's in there? Only you know this is your fridge. Okay, or unless your mom or your sister did your shopping, which could have happened too. But idea is, typically, when we buy things, we aren't always conscious because our brains go, boom, dopamine, I want that, love chips, salt and vinegar. But is that really good for us? Maybe not, right? The point of what I'm about to get into is to have you start thinking about yourselves, your diets, because awareness is the #1 step that you can become or start to take on to be able to think, what am I doing? What could I do differently? What and where do I really want to go in my life in terms of my goals, in terms of the habits that I want to develop, whether it's drinking water, sleeping, eating nutritious food, etc. Okay? The actual statistics behind the foods that we eat, processed foods, okay? This is like salamis and hams and, probably not here, but turkeys, deli meats in general, right? There was a study that was done. They are labeled a group 1 carcinogenic, okay? There was a study done that reviewed 800 studies. This was so shocking to me. 800 is not a little number, okay? This isn't like, one study said. 800 review that there was an absolute connection between processed meats and cancer. Okay, there is no link that says, if someone consumes this isn't actually going to impact them. In fact, it is a group 1 carcinogen, which is the same as tobacco, asbestos, and plutonium. Okay, so this is these like really high risk carcinogenic foods that we eat, at least often you see at most gatherings. Dairy. So, do you drink milk? Do you eat yogurt? Is it a part of your everyday? What does that look like for you? Okay? Well, dairy specifically, and I'm only going to a few of these different things that we can maybe take small steps, right? I'm not saying go vegan, that's scary, but it's healthy. And for some of us, it might be the last thing we want to do. However, taking or becoming more aware of small things and why they influence the rates of breast cancer and why they influence the rates of cancer, diabetes, CPD, all of the different diseases in general, is really important. So dairy specifically has an influence on the rates of breast cancer, and there is a hyperlink to it because the fact that milk, what is milk? What was milk? What is milk? Anybody tell me? Okay, we think maybe, what is milk? Like really think about it. What is milk? It's not just Starbucks coffee. Okay? It is a liquid, okay, from a cow to be able to feed baby calves, right? Okay? Most of the people around the world are lactose intolerant. We are not meant to drink that animal's milk. We are meant to drink, when we're infants, the breast milk from adult humans, right? The casein, okay, which is the protein inside of the milk, in a human adult, okay, is 2.7 grams compared to in a calf's milk, okay, that is 27 grams. So that protein alone is massively disproportionate compared to what we as humans are meant to consume when we're infants. And then we need to wean off of it. Milk in general is filled with sex hormones because it is meant to nurture the infant or the child, right? Or the calf. That means that is increasing rates of estrogen and progesterone in the body, which is what's influencing the degrees of rates of impact on breast cancer. So there was a study that was done that pointed to if you have already had breast cancer and you consume 1 cup of yogurt a day, your rate of dying from that breast cancer was 49%, okay? That is massive. I couldn't quite find the exact statistic between prior to that. Either way, that right there just shows the connection is pretty dramatic. And so you're kind of playing Russian roulette every time you have some yogurt because you could develop, okay, abnormalities in the body, or you couldn't, your choice. Cheese. Cheese is another interesting one. Who likes cheese? Right? That is my reaction to it too. I love cheese. And at the end of the day, again, a little bit more about like taking some massive risks. Why do we love cheese so much? So it's salty, it's tasty, it's rotten, moldy, like whatever. You look at the process. Somehow, when it hits your tongue, it's like divine. Why? Why does our brain love it so much? When cheese breaks down in the stomach, it goes into casein is protein. It breaks down into what's called casomorphine, okay? And that hits the same sensories in the brain as heroin, okay? Now, it's not as strong, don't get me wrong, okay? However, when you think about something like cheese and you have a little bit more, you keep wanting it because of this compound that breaks down, which makes you want it more, okay? So just be aware of that. Next time you go to dip some cheese, be like, what's happening here? Okay? A little awareness. Meat is another one, okay? How many of us eat meat? Let me ask the other question. How many of us are vegetarians? Okay, a few of us. This one's inspired me over here. I'll tell you a story about that. Okay, meat is heavily linked to diabetes, heart disease, cancers of all types. However, it is hyper socialized and what's the actual word there? It's very common in all of our gatherings, and it is incredibly acceptable across all, like, the entire planet, right? However, it is also incredibly damaging to our environment and more so to our bodies. Again, I'm not promoting veganism. I'm simply saying, starting to think about if we do one thing, is that going to kill us? Probably not. But if we're doing a second thing, is that? Probably not. But if we are consuming all of these different foods all of the time without being super mindful of what it is we're putting into our mouth, you walk into whatever your workplace is, you take a little bit of, this from here, you get a little sweets here, you're having a coffee here, you're adding milk there. If you start to really become aware of where milk and dairy and processed meats and meat is throughout your life, then you have to ask yourself, where's the vegetables? Okay? What is it that I can eat? So if I can't have all of these things, what can I have? the solutions. Because there's one thing to talk about a problem, and there's another to present a solution, right? Okay, Hippocrates. I couldn't spell it and I forgot to look it up. It's something like Hippocrates. Okay, he says, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. Okay? So we're here because we want to learn more about breast cancer. If we focus on the problem, we get more of the problem. If we focus on the solution, inevitably, we will have more of the solutions. So, gomes. I can't let you walk out of here being like, that lady, okay, she said some stuff, and I don't remember her, but she had a lot of energy and that was fun, okay? What I want you to do is walk away with a tool. Now, this is referred to as gomes or G-bombs, but considering that I'm from the United States and the state of the world, we're gonna kind of maybe not remember that so much and just go with gomes, okay? So gomes goes like this. Greens, onions, mushrooms, beans, berries, seeds. Repeat with me, everybody. Ready? Greens, onions, mushrooms, beans, berries, seeds. Again, greens, onions, mushrooms, beans, berries, seeds. That is all the food you need to be cancer-free. Exciting, right? See? You will walk away remembering that. Now let's break that down. So greens. Now, why are all these things important? Greens removes carcinogens, decreases inflammation. How many of everybody just say wakes up in the morning, you're so achy, ankle, like all that? That's inflammation, okay? That comes from meat, comes from dairy, comes from pretty much anything not plant-based, okay? And it also kills cancer cells. Onions, this is part of the allium family. Couldn't say that earlier, couldn't say it now. Probably should practice better. It's detoxifying, okay? It detoxifies the carcinogens that are in the body, halts cancer cell growth. Okay, I'm not going to go super deep into this, but always look up gomes, you'll find a lot on the internet. Mushrooms, she mentioned this. This blew my mind, okay? A Chinese study showed that if you consumed 10 grams of mushrooms a day, that it would decrease the rate of breast cancer by 64%. And if you combine that with green tea, 84%. Now, this blew my mind. Okay, so we have to take everything in perspective, you know. However, the fact that this exists out there and there is evidence that shows how good mushrooms are for you, let's eat them more, right? Meat replacement, yeah. Okay, beans. So beans are fiber, which is really great, and she mentioned that is something that helps with so many things that we need. Stabilizing blood sugar, okay, helps, let's just stick with that, okay? Berries. Reduce inflammation. So berries. Berries are everywhere. Berries are delicious. Berries can be in anything that is awesome. You can freeze them and literally have a dessert on the spot. Berries, okay? Consider that a commercial. They reduce inflammation, okay? They have a ton of antioxidants, which basically helps to repair the cells in the body, eradicate cells that aren't good for us, and also helps to decrease cancer. And then seeds. Healthy fats, minerals, more antioxidants, okay? This right here, if you consider this a relative baseline to really consume into the diet, would be a fantastic start in terms of making changes or just incorporating. You don't want to just eat greens or onions or mushrooms with beans, berries, and seeds, but you can make delicious meals with them and start to incorporate them into different things that over time will have that compounding effect, right? Other foods, avocado. Who doesn't love avocado? P.S. Buy the avocados from Uganda. If you put them in a paper bag, okay, they ripen better, and you can sort of time it between the fridge and the paper bag. It just constantly has sources of avocado. I've done it, and I swear to God, it's what has made my ankle better, okay? Garlic, turmeric, cruciferous vegetables. Okay, this is broccoli. I got my underdegree in public health. I'll never forget Dr. Donatella. She's from Wisconsin. She's a cheesehead. If you're from the U.S., you know what that means. She was funny. She said this: if you ate a handful of broccoli a day, you practically couldn't get cancer. Now, I didn't know what the other side of practically was, and I didn't really know what she was talking about, but I remembered that. So, broccoli, you practically can't get cancer, is what Dr. Donatella said. So, again, there are a lot of really good foods out there. This is limiting. Anything else? Does anybody else? Rachel? Any other cancer-fighting foods that come to the top of your mind? Okay. To kind of wrap it up and to close out, here's the thing. I'm going to use our friend Rachel here as the example. So we learn in society all of the times all these things that are good for us, okay? If you look up anything, are eggs good for you? Yes, they're great for you. No, they're terrible for you. We are confused. The trick there is, all you have to do is confuse the public just a little bit, okay? Because then they won't know what choices to make. That is literally a strategy in the tobacco industry. It's written on paper, they have it. When you're choosing these different types of lifestyle, the idea of going from what your current status quo is into this other reality, aka my friend, the vegetarian, says to me, no more chickens. I'm like, oh my gosh, I eat chicken? What else is there to eat? Like, chicken is my protein, and I know a lot of information, but I will eat relatively healthy. This is now months ago. I have since changed, and I'll tell you how. I thought, okay, I know that this maybe isn't the best way forward. I am told this, I need to do some more research. I took that vision to watch a couple of documentaries, especially the one that, man, I don't remember what it's called, but I will let
House.
Huh?
What the house?
No, not that one. This was a different one that really talked about the impact of like planets on the animals on the planet. And I just thought to myself, I have to really consider this. But vegetarianism, like all the way, you know, fully committing, that was really difficult. So then what I started doing was like, okay, how can I kind of replace it a little bit? So then I started making beans. I'd never made beans a day in my life. I bought the cans, they were too expensive. I thought, oh, I'm gonna try this. So then I started soaking the beans. Then I started making beans. Suddenly, I made beans. Now, we watched this documentary to kind of help and to prepare for tonight. And now I'm like, I think I could consider being a vegan or a vegetarian because I've been cooking beans, I've been making lentils, so there's now this way forward in life that I never, from the Midwest, right? Like in the United States, a lot of beef, a lot of cattle, a lot of cows, and pigs, and all the other things. So that came through it. So when you're thinking about your current life here and where you want to get to, don't make that leap. Okay, you're gonna fall off the cliff, and then you're gonna go right back to the old lifestyle. Start thinking about little things I can do daily. Maybe I walk into, oh, I wanna lose weight. Well, just don't put the sugar in the milk and the coffee. Right there, 80 calories a day, okay, is how many calories? We'll go with 100. This is probably like 100, 120. So 100, okay, 30 months, what is that? Okay, 30 days in a month, right? 100 calories. You start to see how that adds up. 3,700 calories is 1 pound of fat. You eliminate simple milk and sugar out of your diet. You've lost like 5-10 pounds in a year by doing nothing, okay? So I strongly encourage you, remember, it is all about the compound effect. If vegan is a scary word, think plant-based, okay? There are so many amazing, delicious foods. Vegan could think to you, that means no, 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 no meat, no dairy, no cheese, all the things I love. Or if you reframe what you're thinking and you focus on, what can I have? Wow, then it becomes this like mountain of gloriousness, right? You can have beef, gomes, greens, onion, mushrooms, beans, berries, seeds, okay? You can have so many things when you focus on plant-based, and what can I have that is plant-based, okay? Again, if you have any questions, there was the final study that really sold it for me that said, low-fat, plant-based diets, okay, are 2 times better than, and reversing, oh man, this was like the American Heart Association's, okay, American Diabetes Association, excuse me, ADA. The American Diabetes Association's recommended diet for healthy living. A plant-based diet, when compared, okay, to those who went with the U.S. recommendation in that way, had 2 times better results at countering and reversing, controlling, can't read my own handwriting, controlling and reversing cancer, okay? That is massive. And that extends to all disease. Because what is our body, right? We don't just get one thing. It's compounded over time. So we're susceptible to multiple diseases. Maybe we have arthritis. Maybe we have multiple osteoporosis, okay? Which also milk has never proven to actually support osteoporosis. And in most cases, the countries that drink the most milk actually have higher rates of osteoporosis, okay? So again, going back to, our bodies are little vessels. What we put into them, okay, is what we get out of them. And it doesn't have to be massive changes that you make overnight to get long-term results, okay? Now I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to think to yourself, okay? If there was one change I could make starting tomorrow, what would it be? Maybe it is that milk in your coffee. Maybe it is that extra plate of cheese, okay? Maybe it is that second serving of meat. Maybe you could go to meatless Mondays and then tasty plant-based Tuesdays. And then wellness Wednesdays, okay? Maybe you could sleep a little more, drink a little more water, and cut that soda, right? We didn't even talk about sugar. We know sugar's not great for you. It actually doesn't impact cancers and things as much as we think, but it's really high in calories, and it really provides very minimal nutritional value to our bodies. So consuming it in general, you know, you can always think twice. We train our taste buds. They're like children, our taste buds. They pretty much do anything you manipulate them to do, right? Just give them a little bit of plans, give them a little good stuff, and boom, change. So, what is your one thing? Tell your friend, neighbor, go. You have 5 seconds. Tell her. What is the thing you're gonna do? What's the thing you're gonna do? What's the thing you're gonna do? It's really important. This whole accountability, people. Tell your neighbor next to you. What are you gonna do? What's the one thing? Raise your hand if you can tell me what your neighbor's thing is that she's doing. She's solving the sugar? Okay. What's your neighbor doing? She what?
I'm already vegetarian.
Okay. Wait, she's that? What's your neighbor doing? She's gonna leave the soda. She's what?
She's gonna leave the soda.
Okay, the soda. Awesome. What's your neighbor doing?
You want me to say this?
Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. Again, remember guys, compounding effects, little steps equal big results, right? Okay, and also remember, 40% of cancer is preventable and health is wealth.